So, the London E-Prix Round 13. Where to start? What an absolutely insane race. And I can tell you, the one race I don't do a watch along for turns out to be very, very exciting. The last time that happened, of course, was the Monaco Grand Prix. So, yeah, a bit of a record there. What a race. Where to start? What do we even talk about here? One thing was for certain, there was a very stark difference between yesterday's race and today's race. Yesterday, you would have actually had the impression that a lot of the cars didn't feel they could pull off moves. The drivers didn't think they could get the moves done, and they didn't really try. There were a couple of hairpins where they really attempted to get these moves done. But apart from that, it just wasn't happening. So, yeah, it didn't bode well for today's race. However, today's race was completely different. So here we are, the third last round of the championship, extremely tight on top. A lot of drivers that can make serious gains. We have the likes of Bird starting way down the order. We have Da Costa starting way down the order. Big impact on the championship potentially, with so many drivers in close contention. I think this actually resulted in many more braver moves. It interestingly also resulted in a lot more stupid moves. We saw some really crazy moves. We saw some really crazy accidents. You could actually argue that the Formula E drivers had lost their minds in this race because it really did look like a comedy at one point. Although in saying that, there was a lot of passion evident. The championship pressure really told, and for me that was the important part. I was thoroughly entertained. I didn't laugh once. I know there are certain people, as I said, that thought this was like a comedy, but for those people who think this is a comedy, just don't watch the sport. You know, if you're not enjoying it, don't watch it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I really liked this race. The first thing I want to start on, however, is, of course, Buemi on Rast. What happened there? Now, I know Buemi always has he is a strong move for Grassi, who is Rast's teammate. But for whatever reason, it was Rast that bore the brunt of Buemi today. Maybe Buemi got confused. Maybe he thought it was Grassi he was battling against for one point in time. I don't know. But it was such a ridiculous move. It really looked like Buemi purposely hit out at Rast. And Rast in turn either hit back directly at Buemi, or else his steering column was broken, or one of the suspension was broken. Something like that. And he couldn't move. But they ended up hitting each other 2 or 3 times, and it was absolute carnage for Rast. His car was destroyed, and Buemi actually, he stayed in the race, but he did receive a 10-second stop-go penalty. Completely deserved. I was surprised actually, just looking at the replay of the incident, I was surprised he didn't get the black flag for that. I was really surprised. Little did I realise there would be a black flag later on in the race, but yeah, it was obviously one of those types of races. Next up then, we had the Lotterer on Da Costa incident. So Da Costa was making his way through the field, as he always does when he starts low down, and he's a very exciting racer. He gets the moves done. He pulled a bit of a dummy on Lotterer coming down the straight, it would appear, and he cut from the outside to the inside. Lotterer wasn't really having it, and he squeezed him into the wall. There's a certain point you reach where you know you're doing it too much. He definitely knew that Da Costa was there. Lotterer did get a penalty for this, but Da Costa was out of the race. Another championship contender gone, and that was really unfortunate. So, all happening yet again. Nissan e.dams, I don't know what the team brief is. I don't know what was going on with them there today, but it was predominantly the team that was suffering the most from the craziness here, and it was Roland's on Van Dorn. So Van Dorn dropped down the order ever so slightly because of fan boost. No, sorry, not fan boost. There we go. Another point against me, always saying fan boost instead of attack mode. Attack mode. So it was Roland's on Van Dorn. Van Dorn had dropped down ever so slightly because of the attack mode activation and safety car periods and everything else like that. Minding his own business, Van Dorn probably would have panned out in around the lead of the race again. He was switching first and second with his teammate for a while as well, depending on who had attack mode. And Roland's comes along and just wipes him out. And there you go. He wasn't out of the race, but he did fall down the order quite substantially because of this. So yeah, that was very unfortunate for Van Dorn. A lot of people now thinking that Van Dorn has very bad luck in Formula E. I can definitely see where they're coming from when they say that. And then the final thing, well, let's not say the final thing, the second last thing I want to talk about is the Grassi pit stop. This was a very fine line on brilliance. Very fine line. I had to applaud this. This was Schumacher-esque. This reminded me of that time when Michael Schumacher took his drive-through penalty on the last lap of a race and managed to stay in the lead of the race. So what happened here was the safety car was out. It was it was probably because of the Lotterer and Da Costa incident, if I remember correctly. And Di Grassi just decided the safety car was going way too slow. They knew that the pit lane was very short at the London E-Prix, and just went for it. Decided to drive through the pit lane, drove into the pit box, stopped, or at least they claim they stopped, and there aren't good TV replays of this because it's the one pit box that's actually blocked out by sponsorship hoardings or something like that, and re-emerged in the race. So he was in, I'm not sure exactly which position he was in when he went in. It was anywhere between 8th and 10th, I guess, in around that position when he went into the pits. He came out in first place. He came out leading the race. So he actually did much better from this than the team had actually anticipated as well. So he came out in first place. Everybody, including myself, we were wondering, surely you can't do that. Surely you can't do that. But it's in the rules. You can take a pit stop when the safety car is there. He didn't break the speed limit in the pit lane, and he managed to come out. So it was a real nuance for this particular situation where the safety car wasn't going fast enough, pit lane wasn't long enough, and he managed to pull it off. In the end, the stewards decided that he didn't stop the car adequately, and so the drama here was that Di Grassi was winning the race. Di Grassi stayed in the lead. Actually, Di Grassi finished in first place during the race, but he was given a drive-through penalty. The irony, for driving through the pits, he gets a drive-through penalty. That was a little bit funny in my opinion. But he gets a drive-through penalty. Audi don't agree with this. We see then some crazy pictures of Alan McNish running down to the steward's office, sprinting down the pit lane. He was going quite fast, and they didn't inform Di Grassi that he had the penalty, as far as I'm aware. At least that's what the commentary team on TV implied. And Di Grassi subsequently on the final lap was given a black flag, so he was disqualified from the race. This being the black flag I felt that Buemi should have had earlier on in the race. So Di Grassi gets the black flag, he comes around, he wins the race. You can see he probably wasn't told, because he does a kind of a celebration move as he comes towards the finish line. Whilst all of this was happening, of course, De Vries was in second place, Lynn was in third place. Lynn pulled off a fantastic move down the start-finish straight just into the first corner to overtake De Vries. Very clean move, very well done. He got it sealed. That was the race-winning move, and Lynn went on to win the race. So after all the expectations on Lynn in previous rounds where he had pole position or was very high up, this was the race that he actually won. So fair play to him. Well done, Alex Lynn. An excellent result. Everybody, I think, are very happy with that. And just to top it all off, he dropped the F-bomb when he was being interviewed on the team radio as well. So fantastic. What a day. A lot of action there. A lot of action. So it was a great race. Let me know in the comments what you think of today's race. Do you agree that it was just a very entertaining race under high pressure situations, which required braver moves, often stupider moves, as I said, or crazier moves if you want? Or has Formula E just completely lost the plot? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, hit the bell as well if you want, and we'll see you really, really soon for another video.